Upon returning to the room and opening it, he found all 6 of them to be headline news from within the sect. Among them, the second one contained information about the top beauty in the outer sect forming a Taoist partnership with an A-tier hall disciple, which caught Su Fan's attention. Could it be that mischievous Yuluan? At this moment, a sound from the prohibition outside the door rang. As the prohibition opened, Wang Yuluan entered with a delicate-faced young girl. The girl leaned close to Wang Yuluan and asked, "Is this senior brother Su really as powerful as you say?" Wang Yuluan looked adoring and replied, "Of course, my achievements today are all thanks to Brother Su." "Qianer, when you meet Brother Su later, say more good things. I bet your matter is just a small favor for Brother Su." The girl in front of us is exactly Wang Yuluan's Taoist partner, the famous beauty Murong Qianer mentioned in the previous news as the outer first beauty. Su Fan observed from a distance outside the window for a while, thinking to herself, "Is it my senior sister Sha who looks better, or this outer disciple is just too young to appreciate mature beauty?" He then withdrew his gaze and walked out. Wang Yuluan smiled and said, "Brother Su, how's your recent enlightenment on the great Tao of artifact refining going?" Murong Qianer greeted, "Hello, Brother Su," appearing very polite. Su Fan kindly said, "Hello, if I guess correctly, you must be the outer sect's #1 beauty, Murong Qianer, right?" Wang Yuluan looked at Su Fan in astonishment and said, "Brother Su, you already know?" Su Fan praised her counterpart, saying, "You found the outer sect's #1 beauty. Everyone knows such a big event." He then invited the 2 of them inside for a chat. Upon entering the house, Wang Yuluan took out a sumptuous meal from the storage ring. Su Fan exclaimed, "You've become quite capable. I've seen you many times before, but you've never been this respectful. Come on, what's the matter?" Wang Yuluan felt a little embarrassed and said, "Brother Su, a while ago when Qianer and I were out on a mission, we encountered a chi-refining 9-layer soul-devouring beast. Qianer got infected with the aura of the soul-devouring beast. Now, every night she can't sleep well as there always seems to be a hint of a ghostly presence around her. I would like to ask for your help in resolving this." As soon as the words fell, Su Fan formed a hand seal with one hand, and immediately a cluster of spiritual light appeared above his head. The spiritual light fell towards Murong Qianer's head, as Su Fan spoke of illumination evolution. Murong Qianer felt a wave of relaxation throughout her body, and a dark energy emerged from her. Su Fan casually released a burst of spiritual power, instantly dissipating the dark energy. He disdainfully remarked, "How embarrassing! A chi-refining 5-layer like you actually got chased by a soul-devouring beast, and even got your wife injured." Wang Yuluan cried out, "But she is a chi-refining 9-layer." It was at this moment that Murong Qianer recovered from her shock and asked, "Brother Su, have you mastered the purification spell to the highest level?" It seems like even her spiritual level has been purified. Su Fan said casually, "Just practicing casually, never thought I would reach the high level." Murong Qianer also admires Brother Su at this moment and said, "Brother Su is indeed amazing. I wonder if you plan to go when the sect opens the mythic realm this time." Wang Yuluan joined in to assist. With Brother Su's strength, they will definitely achieve great success. Su Fan directly swung a bone at Wang Yuluan. "Don't take such risks. Isn't it better to live well?" he thought. "You kids still want to trick me. It's obvious that it's too difficult in the mythic realm. Let me handle this for you." At this moment, Wang Yuluan expressed that he had heard there were powerful cultivator inheritances in the mythic realm. Some people had previously found a manual from a master artifact refiner in the mythic realm, which also contained many lost glyphs. Upon hearing this news, Su Fan instantly became interested because he wanted to become an outstanding master artifact refiner. A diverse reserve of glyphs is essential, with at least mastering over 1,000 glyphs. Wang Yuluan, seeing the situation, assured Su Fan that in the current selection of the mythic realm, at most, there were only chi-refining pinnacle fiend beasts. According to Brother Su's strength, there is no need to worry at all. Su Fan was clearly moved, but he still asked, Are you sure there are only chi refining fiend beasts inside? Wang Yulun also affirmed. Yes. In that case, Su Fan also agreed to come. Wang Yulun then stated that we will gather at Heavenly Hidden Peak in 10 days, and the cost of entering the mythic realm is 1,000 spiritual stones per person. After seeing off 2 people, Su Fan decided to ponder over the introductory volume of artifact refining to create an artifact for himself in order to increase his chances of survival in the mythic realm. When the artifact refining jade slip disperses, Su Fan entered the lecture space. It is gradually introducing the basics of artifact refining inside. With the influx of memories, Su Fan remembered all the various steps of getting started with artifact refining in the immortal cultivation world, as well as the over 1,000 common types of spiritual ore and the characteristics of each type. Su Fan took a deep breath not long after. Finally comprehended it. This is much more interesting than Dan refining. Just at this moment, Su Fan's waist started to shake again. I saw Pang Fu contact junior brother Su saying, I know that you are not only refining pills, but also starting to learn artifact refining. That's amazing, junior brother. I happened to come across some information about the dual cultivation of pills and artifacts. I'll tell you about it. Su Fan secretly thought to himself. This is like falling asleep and then a pillow appears. Beneath such a handsome face is a man. This contrast frightened Su Fan's young mind. At this moment, Su Fan arrived at the Mind Spire workshop on Artifact Refining Peak. Next, he is going to try artifact refining. However, this room must have a temperature of 60 degrees Celsius. It's like a sauna, which is just right. Su Fan said, waving his hand. A thin layer of frost armor instantly appeared on his body, making him feel refreshed. Then he laid out all the things he would need. First, practice with black iron essence or 1,000 cloud steel. He recalled Pang Fu's previous words about the secret that whether it was Dan refining or artifact refining reaching its peak, it would attract the light of the induction, guiding them to the celestial realm. But if dual cultivation of Dan and artifact was practiced, it would mean giving up the guidance light, and could only rely on cultivation level to break through the realm. Su Fan thought to himself that it seems like the dual cultivation of Dan and artifact has become so powerful that even the heavenly Tao cannot accommodate it. However, as his system itself is about biding time, it doesn't matter. He can still rely on cultivation level to break through the realm when the time comes. He followed the steps he had learned and began to refine the materials in front of him. Su Fan. It's just that this is different from what he imagined artifact refining to be. It took a lot of spiritual chi, thanks to his abundant spiritual power, otherwise, he really couldn't have persisted. As the refining is almost done, the next step is to integrate the glyph. Su Fan uses his finger as a stylus to draw glyphs in the air, integrating them into the artifact for spirit controlling and armor breaking. Reinforced, featherlight, silent, spirit piercing, and other glyphs are successively integrated. However, when he integrates the final glyph, the explosion of spiritual power directly destroyed the artifact that was just about to take shape. Su Fan looked at a chaotic scene of failure. He was somewhat at a loss, and on the verge of tears, unexpectedly losing more than 400 spiritual stones worth of materials. Just then, the supervisor of this area knocked on the door and entered. It seems like it's the young man's first time attempting artifact refining, huh? Su Fan pondered for a moment. He suddenly grinned mischievously and said, As a supervisor, you must know the secrets of artifact refining. Please teach me today. After some fiddling around, Su Fan pulled the supervisor into study mode. Time passed quietly, and today arrived at the agreed time. Wang Yulun is happily sitting with his sweet wife, rushing towards the crane. Suddenly, a dark shadow flashed by the two people's side. That was Su Fan flying by on his sword. He couldn't help but complain in his heart. Showing affection so early in the morning, I really can't stand them. After arriving at Heavenly Hidden Peak, Wang Yulun and Su Fan greeted each other. Suddenly, Wang Yulun's eyes lit up and he asked, Brother Su, was that sword you just used an artifact you refined? Its speed is already comparable to a Foundation establishment stage cultivator. Su Fan looked smug and said, "It's just a small trick. There's nothing to be so surprised about." At this moment, an illusory old man with white hair and a youthful face appeared in the sky, accompanied by a mysterious power. Behind him, a gigantic gate descended. The old man explained that within the chi refining stage mythic realm, disciples must not harm each other. They will automatically be brought out after a month. Now, all disciples participating in the mythic realm must each bring out 1,000 spiritual stones, which I will collect. Wang Yuluan said to Su Fan, "Brother Su, are you coming with us?" Su Fan replied, "I don't want to walk with this lovey-dovey couple." However, he did hand something over to Wang Yuluan, indicating that if there is an emergency, he should input spiritual power inside. At that time, Su Fan would be able to sense their location. Wang Yuluan has not even had the chance to say thank you yet. Su Fan has already entered the mythic realm with just one swipe. After entering, Su Fan found that the spiritual chi here is very pure, surrounded by a forest of wind spirit trees, all of which have matured. Su Fan casually found a place to settle down. Since he'll be here for a month, he needs to set up a temporary base first. Afterwards, Su Fan manipulated the flying sword to cut and assemble a simple set of combination cabins. Just then, a group of jungle Yogwai wolves ambushed Su Fan. Su Fan just gave them a glance and killed them. Suddenly, this group of Yogwai wolves was frightened and collapsed on the ground. In just a moment, the wolves were tamed by Su Fan and then sent out to search for treasures everywhere. After the house is built, Su Fan will start looking for opportunities. After arriving at a lakeside, he thought according to the routine that there should be something in the lake. The whole lake suddenly exploded. A simple and peaceful voice came. "Junior brother, there's no need to panic. Just now, it was me subduing the artifact. Everything is fine now." A man appeared in front of him with a blue flying sword. Su Fan congratulated the man on obtaining the extraordinary flying sword. The next moment, the handsome face of the man appeared. He introduced himself, saying, "I am Ye Carefree Junior brother. May I ask for your name?" Upon hearing the name Ye Carefree, Su Fan was startled. Damn, could it be that he had encountered the protagonist? He was greeted warmly by such a handsome senior brother. Su Fan feels that he can't maintain his fasting anymore. At this moment, Su Fan is also introducing himself as an outer disciple to Ye Carefree. He said that while carefully sizing up Ye Carefree, he increasingly feels that this guy may be the protagonist template. Su Fan had to admit that this handsome appearance made him look better than himself. He also has extraordinary luck. That flying sword just now is at least a treasure artifact pinnacle, and most likely a sealed Taoist artifact. Ye Carefree approached warmly. It turned out to be Junior Brother Su. Seeing is sharing. Consider this artifact water stabilizing pearl as a gift from me to Junior Brother. I hope Junior Brother won't mind. Su Fan thought to himself, "Is this hush money? Taking this artifact means I have to keep quiet about the flying sword matter for him. And whose spotlight is this? Clearly, I am the main character." The more Su Fan thought about it, the more uneasy he felt. Could it be that the other party is also a time traveler? He tentatively threw out a few classic Earth lines to test the waters. However, Ye Carefree showed no signs of anything unusual. Su Fan was a little disappointed. He took the water stabilizing pearl from Ye Carefree's hand. "I understand the meaning of Senior Brother. Thank you for the gift Senior Brother gave." Su Fan has decided to try to stay away from the protagonist as much as possible. Being around the protagonist means both great opportunity and great risk. "Junior Brother, I'll feel at ease once you accept this gift." With that, Ye Carefree presented his newly acquired flying sword to Junior Brother Su. "We are destined to meet again." He then rode his sword and departed. However, Su Fan thought it would be best not to meet again. Typically, several friends around the main character would die, so Su Fan avoided risky situations. After everything returned to calm, Su Fan looked at the lake again. Not knowing if there was anything left inside, Su Fan decided to search again. After exploring at night, Su Fan returned to the cabin. This guy is indeed the protagonist. He cleaned up that lake thoroughly, even digging out the worthless night pearls. But this mythic realm is not bad. During the period, he also collected some spiritual herbs himself. A low wolf howl sounded at this time. After opening the door, more than 10 pairs of shining green eyes appeared. This scene really scared Su Fan. Being a human from Earth, he is still very afraid of ghosts. It wasn't until he saw that it was his own little brother that Su Fan finally calmed down. Opened the packages they looted. Wow, there are quite a few treasures. However, Yagwai Wolf began to gesture, and Su Fan understood that this was what they found from the corpses. It was surprising that people were dying so quickly. It seems that one must be cautious. Su Fan immediately conjured a semicircular light shield, covering the entire cabin and hiding it. In the early morning, Su Fan cooked a pot of spiritual rice porridge and enjoyed it heartily. However, at the sound of a breaking noise, Su Fan didn't even bother to look up, recognizing the familiar sound of Yi Carefree from yesterday. I hope he doesn't have trouble with him. At this moment, Yi Carefree also descended. So it was you, junior brother Su. His eyes, however, were fixed on the pot of porridge next to Su Fan. Su Fan sighed and said, "Senior brother Yi, if you don't mind, please try this spiritual rice porridge." Yi Carefree also sat down without hesitation and started to have the porridge together. The taste was simply unforgettable for him. Su Fan casually asked, "Senior brother Yi, you are so talented, you must be a pre-disciple of A-Tier Hall, right? I mainly want to see if this person is the protagonist template." Yi Carefree smiled and responded, "I am a pre-disciple of the 10,000 Sword Summit, under the guidance of Elder Yuan Wei." Su Fan pretends to Indy and says, "Elder Yuan Wei is indeed a powerful figure at the integration stage in the Inner Sword Immortal lineage. Senior brother Yi, your future is limitless." In his heart, he thought that indeed this person has an impressive master, one of the templates for the protagonist. However, at this moment, Yi Carefree's smile seemed somewhat bitter. Don't be afraid to say it out. A few months ago, I was still an inner disciple at the foundation establishment stage. Then my cultivation level inexplicably disappeared. Now I have fallen to the Qi refining 9 layer, and I don't know where to start again. Yi Carefree sighed. Now he only wants to accumulate more worldly possessions. Just in case he becomes an ordinary person in the future, a lifetime of wealth and prosperity would also be a good choice. When hearing this, Su Fan instantly looked at Yi Carefree's hands. Indeed, there was a simple and unadorned ancient ring. I believe senior brother Yi will definitely return to his former self and regain his glory. Su Fan was thinking in his heart. Damn, now he's sure that this guy is definitely the main character. He must stay away in the future. Suddenly, Yi Carefree grabbed Su Fan's hands. "Thank you, junior brother Su, for comforting me. In the past, whenever others knew about my experiences, they would mock me. Even if they were not as strong as me, they would still take pleasure in my misfortune. Junior brother Su, I have made you my friend." "I decline. I don't want to be your friend." At this moment, Su Fan's heart is full of resistance. Finally, after sending off this senior brother once again, Su Fan rubbed his chin and thought, will an ancient powerful grandfather appear when this guy's cultivation level drops to Qi refining 3 layer? Later, Su Fan found a wind spirit tree in the forest that was twice the size of the surrounding spiritual trees, which was perfect for refining a spiritual wind boat. He immediately summoned the ethereal sword and tried to cut down this thick wind spirit tree. However, a roar of anger came from far away. A giant bear fiend beast several meters long ran towards Su Fan like a heavy truck, attacking him. Just an 8th layer Qi refining fiend beast, Su Fan decided to use it to temper the ethereal sword he crafted for himself. Just as the flying sword struck the giant bear, there was a clang, and a layer of stone armor appeared on the surface of the giant bear to block it. The next moment, the giant bear's huge paw swiped towards Su Fan. However, Su Fan sneered as if he had long anticipated this. Just in an instant, the giant bear was slain by some kind of weapon. Su Fan remained calm and turned around. It turns out that it was the second artifact, bladeless needle, refined by him, consisting of a set of 36 embroidery needles as thin as hair. Sure enough, even in the immortal cultivation world, one cannot escape the hurdle of betrothal gifts. Wang Yuluan's betrothal gifts amounted to a whopping 1 million spiritual stones. At this moment, under the efforts of Su Fan, the spiritual wind boat has finally been refined by him. He couldn't help but narcissistically say, if heaven did not give birth to Su Fan, the path of artifact refining would be as eternal as the long night. However, at this moment, a specific wave of energy came through. Su Fan's expression tightened immediately. This was the distress signal he had given to Wang Yuluan. He then stepped onto the newly crafted spiritual wind boat. He then accelerated to rush towards Wang Yuluan's side. Meanwhile, Wang Yuluan and Murong were running frantically for their lives. The enormous swarm of bees behind them seemed to be insulted, crazily chasing after the two of them. Murong said worriedly, "Husband, do you think Brother Su can make it in time to save us? If it really doesn't work out, I'll use the secret art to burn my essence blood and escape with you. I see the swarm of bees is about to catch up with the two people." Wang Yuluan immediately picked up his delicate wife. He used one of the escaped secret arts taught by Su Fan. The consumption of spiritual power is quite high, so a speed spirit Dan was quickly swallowed by Wang Yuluan. His pale face gradually regained color. Murong anxiously said, "Husband, just taking the speed spirit Dan like this won't work. Let me use the blood-burning secret technique." Wang Yuluan replied, "Wait a little longer. If it really doesn't work, then we can consider it." Su Fan, who had just arrived at the scene, took a deep breath after using Hawk's gaze to clearly see the situation. Without a brain thrombus for at least 20 years, he absolutely couldn't have done this. This damn thing is the spirit devouring bee, even a golden core cultivator would avoid it. At this moment, when Wang Yuluan saw Su Fan, he immediately got excited. Now there is hope. But at this moment, the massive swarm of bees behind him suddenly accelerated and instantly surrounded the two of them. Upon seeing Su Fan also being surrounded, Wang Yuluan felt sorry for him, as Brother Su inadvertently implicated him as well. However, at this moment, a huge roar resounded, only to see Su Fan on the spiritual wind boat with a ferocious expression, taking out a bottle of speed spirit Dan and pouring it directly into his mouth. His hands quickly formed seals, and a tremendous spiritual power surged within Su Fan's body. Secret Art Dimensional Sonic Strike. This is currently the most powerful group attack spell that Su Fan can cast. At this moment, the world seems to transform into a string of zither, and the shadow of a giant hand appears, gently landing on the string. Endless sound waves surge like ocean waves, rushing out in all directions. Wherever the sound waves pass, all the spirit-devouring bees seem to lose their souls, plummeting down towards the earth as if lifeless. Wang Yuluan and the other two were also stunned by the sound waves. Su Fan directly took out the grappling hook and pulled up the two people. He accelerated the spiritual wind boat and quickly fled towards a distance. On a sandy beach by a lake, the pale-faced Su Fan is roasting a plump wild chicken. Two unconscious people are lying next to him. He didn't expect the aftermath of using his ultimate move to be so severe, and he doesn't know how long it will take to recover. It feels like a big loss. As soon as Su Fan finished speaking, he felt his blood boiling with anger, quickly took out a top-grade green wooden Dan and swallowed it. It seems that he won't be able to use spells that consume spiritual power in the next few days, but he can still use mental abilities. Su Fan looked towards the distance at the terrifying 10-layer fiend beast Earth Dragon Beast that had already been controlled. With the Earth Dragon Beast guarding, he should be able to safely get through these days. At this moment, Wang Yuluan slowly woke up, still in a daze, wondering if this is hell. Wang Yuluan suddenly realized, "I'm not dead, "Brother Su, you saved me," he said as he pinched his thigh. "Ouch, that really hurts." Then he looked at his wife next to him and chuckled foolishly. Su Fan glanced at Wang Yulin and threw a bottle of top-grade mind-calming Dan beside him. "Both of you were injured by sonic strike and are feeling a bit disoriented. Take the pill to avoid any long-term consequences." Su Fan was feeling a bit sad. The mind-calming Dan is a first-grade Dan pill, and just the cost of this bottle is 500 to 600 spiritual stones. Wang Yulin was so touched that he was about to hug Su Fan. "Brother Su, this is the second time you have saved me. Thank you." Su Fan looked at him with a dark face. "All of this must be repaid. My fee for taking action is 20,000 spiritual stones, and this bottle of mind-calming Dan is 2,000 spiritual stones. When you return to the sect, remember to pay me." Wang Yulin's expression tightened. "Brother Su, let me owe you for now. I will repay you 1,000,000 spiritual stones when I have them." At this moment, Xianxia casually pinched Wang Yulin. Then she asked quietly, "Does it hurt, my lord?" Wang Yulin thought to himself, "Of course it hurts." After she realized she was still alive, the young couple also hugged each other and started crying in pain. The two of them thanked Su Fan once again for saving their lives. At this point, Su Fan's barbecue business had already been completed. He tore off a big chicken leg and started gnawing on it. He looked at the couple and asked, "Come on, tell me, who has had a cerebral thrombosis for many years and dared to provoke the spirit-devouring bee?" Wang Yulin scratched his head apologetically. "Our plan was originally foolproof, but unexpectedly some problems arose halfway through, and as a result, we were discovered by the spirit-devouring bee. We thought we could easily escape with the secret art taught by Brother Su, but I was overthinking it." Su Fan raised his mouth slightly and said, "I just want to know, why did you provoke that thing?" At this moment, Xianxia lowered her head in embarrassment. Wang Yulin explained, "The honey produced by the spirit-devouring bee has the effects of beautifying the skin, preserving youth, and prolonging life. Especially for people with hidden injuries, long-term consumption can help eliminate those injuries. Xian'er's mother went to battle strong enemies shortly after giving birth to Xian'er, resulting in developing a hidden injury. She wants to use the spirit-devouring bee honey to help her mother heal the hidden injury. Most importantly, with the spirit-devouring bee honey, I can propose to Xian'er's family." Upon hearing this, Su Fan understood. Another young man forced into a difficult situation by the pressure of having to provide a bride price. Su Fan listened and said strangely, "As the prospective disciple of Atir Hall, does your future mother-in-law still look down on you?" Wang Yulin responded, "My mother-in-law said I am a good person, so the bride price was reduced from the original 2,000,000 spiritual stones to 1,000,000 spiritual stones. So he took a risk and thought of using this opportunity as the betrothal gift and combining it with his own family." Su Fan, feeling a bit distressed, said, "Your mother-in-law is really good to you. Even with 1,000,000 spiritual stones, he probably needs to save up for more than 10 years. Looking at the expectant expression on Wang Yulin's face, Su Fan thought of himself being defeated by the betrothal gift in his past life. Su Fan asked again, "After talking for so long, have you received the things?" Wang Yulin took out a small bottle and said, "I've got the things, but unfortunately only half of what I expected. However, I think it should be enough." At this moment, Su Fan's eyes flashed with a hint of excitement. "This honey is so good, it should be very valuable. My spiritual stones for later artifact refining are running out." He then asked how many spiritual stones this thing is worth. Xian'er said softly, "One caddy of spiritual stones costs 2,000 units, with no market availability." Su Fan's eyes lit up instantly, and he said to the two of them, "Please show me where you gather honey." For the sake of a mere golden core stage devouring bee, what is the spiritual stone worth? At this moment, Su Fan's eyes have been blinded by the spiritual stone. Is it the decline of morality or the distortion of human nature? It even makes Su Fan, a grown man, start showing off by twisting his hips. At this moment, The fully recovered Su Fan is riding alone on a cloudflower deer, moving forward in the sea of flowers. He arrived in front of a bamboo forest, where inside lies the nest of the spirit-devouring bee. Su Fan pointed to the forehead of the cloudflower deer and asked it to find a place to hide. He then transformed into a gust of wind using the body lightning technique. He drifted towards the bamboo forest. He looked at the swarm of bees covering the entire bamboo forest. Su Fan immediately used the mental deception art, and in an instant, he created a scene that looked as if he was searching for a partner. In the eyes of the spirit-devouring bee, Su Fan appeared just like the brightest individual in the spirit-devouring bee colony. All the spirit-devouring bees were enticed by Su Fan. Wherever he went, all the bee colonies avoided him, clearing a path on both sides as if welcoming their prince. Upon seeing the towering beehives that were over 3 meters high, Su Fan's eyes started to shine. Through his calculations, if he can get 10,000 caddies of honey, that would be 20 million spiritual stones, he will be able to achieve financial freedom in the immortal cultivation world. At this time, a queen bee, several times larger than the ordinary spirit-devouring bee, is staring at Su Fan. Su Fan didn't expect that this fellow actually resisted his mental deception art. The next moment, he was about to make the queen bee fall into it as well, only to see the queen bee's body surrounded by a spiritual light shield, blocking Su Fan's enchantment skill. At the same time, Su Fan also received a message that this is one of the properties of the heaven-gazing sect, and also considered a reward from the mythic realm. Those with the ability in the mythic realm can steal honey on their own, but up to a maximum of 1,000 caddies. Su Fan's dream of getting rich suddenly shattered. At the same time, in the cloud continent of the heaven-gazing sect, an integration stage elder who focuses on the mythic realm was surprised to think that a chi refining stage cultivator could deceive the spirit-devouring bee swarm and almost control the queen bee. It seems like I will be at a loss this time. Su Fan in the mythic realm is happily collecting honey, and it's the royal honey of the spirit-devouring bee. After Su Fan collected 500 pounds and wanted to continue, a voice of an old man came from the sky saying, "Young one, that's enough." Su Fan glanced at the sky and commented, "How stingy." Then, without further ado, he directly took out the good honey to offer to the spiritual wind boat. Then he flew towards the distant place. Looking at the 500 kilograms of honey in front of him, Su Fan was already thinking about what to buy after selling the honey. The top artifact dam refining furnace must be accompanied by an artifact refining set, and a complete set must be purchased as well as all the spells in the book pavilion. Just then, a familiar breaking space sound came from the sky, and a sword-light rainbow flew towards the direction Su Fan had just left. Su Fan immediately knew that it was Yi Carefree, the protagonist. It seems that the other party is also going to deal with honey. I wonder how many kilograms of honey this protagonist can get. At this moment, the integration stage elder, who was just lamenting about losses, is completely unsettled this time, even a bit angry. Now there are so many monsters at the chi refining stage, yet they are crazy about gathering honey and not listening to my advice. Are they trying to bankrupt me? Yi Carefree in the nest of the spirit-devouring bees is happily bottling honey in the 4C's bottles, cheerfully saying, "I didn't expect that dropping to the chi refining stage would have such benefits." More than 10,000 caddies of spirit-devouring bee honey is worth over 2 million spiritual stones, enough for Master to hire a great perfection stage cultivator to diagnose my physical issues. Just then, a mysterious spiritual light that seemed to come from beyond the sky directly pushed Yi Carefree out of the bamboo forest. The bamboo forest also raised a protective shield indicating that the spirit-devouring bee bamboo forest is sealed, and will only open after the third mythic realm. Upon seeing this, Yi Carefree also complained, "How petty!" Just at this moment, a voice of an old man popped up in Yi Carefree's mind. "Young man, are you willing to seek revenge for this immortal emperor? This immortal emperor is from Sky Rainbow Great Thousand Worlds." I don't know that his little partner, Su Fan, who has already embarked on a journey of destiny, is now searching all over the world for the inheritance of the artifact refining master. The current Su Fan can now be said to be a young man with a spirit of getting rich quick. He no longer cares about things that are worth tens or hundreds of spiritual stones a day after he explored several places. Su Fan later arrived at a master's mansion, but it turned out to be the inheritance of a Dan refining master. After looting everything, Su Fan's resolute expression indicated that Dan refining is not as good as artifact refining. Time quietly passed, and there is only 1 hour left until the end of the mythic realm. Su Fan smiled as he looked at the thousands of spell jade slips in his hand. This cabinet of spell celestial technique jade slips was worth it as well. At least there will be something to pass the time during boring days in the future. Su Fan took out a jade slip and started to watch it. He didn't expect that there would be summoning spells in the immortal cultivation world. The treasure bag spell and spatial ring spiritual stone could perhaps be saved. The little waning moon art seems a bit evil. The true spirit spell communicates with the true spirit. Su Fan was getting more and more excited the more he watched, until a voice interrupted his comprehension. 1 month had passed, and the mythic realm was closing. In an instant, Su Fan appeared in the air above Heavenly Hidden Peak, then fell downward. Fortunately, Su Fan reacted quickly and used the body lightning technique to stop in midair. After he landed safely, Wang Yiluan and his wife rode on flying cranes closely following Brother Su. Today, it's on me at the Drunken Immortal Tavern. How about that? We both need to properly thank Brother Su for saving our lives. Su Fan, upon hearing this, immediately found a very interesting spell from the pile of jade slips called Digested Technique. Things eaten under the effect of this spell will be quickly digested, and the nutrients and spiritual chi from the food will be used to enhance the practitioner's physical body. He quickly flipped through it. In the end, he agreed to Wang Yiluan's invitation to live outdoors for a month. He was looking forward to having a good meal, but deep down he thought, "This time, I'll rely on you to break even." Others who travel through time usually fight monsters and level up along the way. Only Su Fan is solely focused on cultivation, and he is very passionate about the artifact refining technique. At this moment, Su Fan has sold the honey and received around 300,000 spiritual stones. After Su Fan finished counting his harvest, he lightly tapped his fingers in the air. A paper crane shimmering with blue light appeared, listing the items he needed. The paper crane then spread its wings and flew towards the Alliance's base. Time passed quietly, and the express delivery by the flying bird soon delivered the items on the list. Pang Fu appeared on the communicator and said, "Junior brother, the items have all been delivered. I've also sent you the invoice for settlement. Please check if everything is correct." In no time, the flying bird took away 300,000 spiritual stones. Su Fan looked helpless, as it seems that 300,000 spiritual stones is not enough to spend. However, this time Su Fan can finally start the artifact refining plan. Spring comes and goes, 3 years pass in the blink of an eye. Mindspire Workshop, a middle-level artifact refining room. Su Fan looked at the combination artifact in front of him, falling into contemplation. Why are spirit controlling and mother-son glyphs somewhat incompatible? Is the intermediary glyph not matching properly? Suddenly, his eyes lit up. Since they are incompatible, he decided to directly use an enhanced version of the mother-son glyph and try replacing the spirit-controlling glyph with the spider silk glyph. He then started to sketch in the air with the glyph brush. In the blink of an eye, 99 glyphs appeared in the air in a wonderful pattern. The glyphs began to merge towards the artifact in the air. He looks at the successfully merged artifact. Su Fan breathed a sigh of relief. This artifact he created is called Thousand's Blade. After refining it 6 times, he finally succeeded. Just the cost of the ingredients alone has spent tens of thousands of spiritual stones. The communicator rang again at this time, and today's sect news has been updated. It can be seen that the recent heaven-gazing sect is not peaceful. When Su Fan saw the 4th headline, He thought about how he is now a first-grade artifact refiner, and wondered if he would be qualified to contact the heavenly floating boat after entering the artifact refining peak. Yi Carefree is truly living up to his name as the protagonist. In just a few years, he was able to defeat a golden core expert. Could it be that the old man inside him has awakened? However, in the past 3 years, he has relied on the Feast technique and the spirit-devouring Biwangmi, and has also advanced to the Qi refining 8 layer. Moreover, he has thoroughly integrated the Dan recipe and spell obtained in the mythic realm. I wonder if he will be able to rival a golden core cultivator when he advances to the foundation establishment stage. Su Fan picked up a Dragon Ball artifact the size of a ball. This is Su Fan's proudest artifact, as it can summon a dragon soul with a combat power equivalent to an average foundation establishment cultivator. When combined with the soul artifact that serves as a vessel for the dragon soul, the two artifacts together can unleash the peak combat power of a foundation establishment cultivator. Slaying an average foundation establishment fiend beast would be as easy as slaughtering chickens and dogs. Later, he returned to the small hilltop. Su Fan was still lying lazily like a dead fish when he got up. At this time, the sound of the prohibition started. Wang Yuluan and his wife happily walked in. Su Fan looked at the sweet couple with some amazement. It's rare for someone to persistently sprinkle dog food in front of themselves for 3 years. He asked, "What happy event is making you so happy? Did your mother-in-law finally relent?" Wang Yuluan shyly nodded. "On the 15th of next month, Chinner and I will have our big day. Brother Su, you must come." Su Fan also congratulated them. Before long, Su Fan began to enjoy the feast brought by the couple. Looking at Wang Yuluan beside him, Su Fan said, "You really have had incredible luck." In his heart, he felt a bit bitter. He thought to himself, "I don't need this sweet love. I aim to reach the status of an immortal emperor. Who in this world can match me?" After dinner, Su Fan thought for a moment and directly took the two of them to his artifact collection room. As soon as they entered the collection room, the two of them instantly lit up with excitement. The room is displaying all kinds of artifacts. Su Fan asked them to each choose an artifact as a wedding gift for the two of them. "But don't touch those warheads, okay?" After carefully choosing, Murong Chiener set her sights on 2 matching artifact hard market swords. The white sword is the main speed armor-breaking sword, while the pink sword creates illusions and bewitches enemies' minds. Wang Yuluan was attracted to the newly refined Thousand's Blade flying sword. The ability to freely split and recombine the sword during battles will make it impossible for enemies to defend against. Then the young couple happily bid farewell and left. At this point, Su Fan was feeling a bit regretful. Those 2 artifact materials weren't particularly precious, but refining them was the most troublesome part. However, he could only let it go. As the big brother, he couldn't be too petty. He had to attend their wedding at the sect on the 15th of next month. It would be his first time traveling far. He needed to prepare for it. A month later, fully armed Su Fan walked out of the heaven-gazing sect. He remembered that the place where Wang Yuluan held the wedding was an immortal city called Diding City, which is over 6,000 kilometers away from the sect. Fortunately, he had a spiritual wind boat. At this moment, a familiar breaking sound of void came from Su Fan. It was the elegant protagonist Yi Carefree. The delight of seeing Su Fan was momentarily disrupted. Why is it him again? Could it be that we're going the same way? A foundation establishment cultivator can confidently face it. Being surrounded by 5 golden core evil cultivators. Is this the transformation that senior brother has undergone in the 3 years since activating Grandpa? At this moment, he carefree clasped his hands and said, "Junior brother Su, it has been 3 years since we last met, right? I didn't expect to encounter you here today. It's truly fate." Looking into Su Fan's eyes, Yi Carefree's expression was full of sincerity. He still remembers the encouraging words that Su Fan said to him in times of adversity. Su Fan could only smile and return the gesture. "What a coincidence, senior brother Yi. I heard that you had become the pride of our sect. I haven't congratulated you yet. Ye Carefree said that we don't need to exchange polite words between us. He chatted like an old friend before landing on Su Fan's spiritual wind boat. Is the rear wing of Junior Brother Su's spiritual wind boat specifically designed to increase speed? Although Su Fan wanted to dismiss the other party, he explained that he obtained the wind-boosting glyph in the mythic realm. Speed can be significantly increased at critical moments. Senior Brother Yi, if you have something to attend to, please go ahead and take care of it first to avoid delaying important matters. Ye Carefree said, I am going to attend a junior brother's wedding. What about you, Junior Brother Su? Su Fan has an ominous premonition. Senior Brother Ye's junior brother is named Wang Yuluan. Ye Carefree laughs heartily. Exactly. Does Junior Brother Su also need to participate? We happen to be going together. This way, I can also chat with Junior Brother Su. Ye Carefree said as he summoned a massive sword boat. Junior Brother, come sit on my sword boat. It's faster. Su Fan is really surprised. Unfortunately, he could only travel with Ye Carefree. Just as he boarded the sword boat, it accelerated suddenly. Su Fan was suddenly blown into a mess. Ye Carefree saw the situation and opened the protective cover with a hint of apology. Junior Brother Su, who had just been at the chi refining stage, had a dark expression on his face and said, It's okay. It was my interruption. Afterwards, Ye Carefree wholeheartedly started entertaining Su Fan with top-grade celestial fruit and spiritual tea without interruption. Looking at the table full of food, Su Fan helplessly said, Senior Brother Yi, don't bring out more. The table won't fit everything. Secretly sighing in his heart. This main character is too enthusiastic. The gay point has exceeded the limit. At this moment, almost at the same time, the two of them looked forward at the same time. Ye Carefree turned into a long sword-light rainbow and rushed out a sword boat. Brother Su, wait for a moment. There are some bugs that I need to clean up. Ye Carefree stood proudly with a sword in front of sword boat shouting, Rats! This place is less than 10,000 miles from my heaven-gazing sect. How dare you act so recklessly? Su Fan, who was observing in secret, couldn't help but wonder when he saw the flying swords with the 5 attributes of gold, wood, water, fire, and earth. Could it be that the protagonist has OCD? Ye Carefree, even if you kill me, a senior brother from the Lust Demon sect, even within the heaven-gazing sect you must die. With a soft and sinister voice, the statement was made. 5 cultivators from the Lust Demon sect surrounded the sword boat. Su Fan was in a daze. He knew that following the protagonist would definitely lead to trouble. If Su Fan had the chance to start over, he would definitely have stood his ground when meeting the protagonist for the first time. Then, he would have tactically retreated for safety. Making friends with the protagonist is really too dangerous. At this time, Ye Carefree sent a message to Su Fan. Junior Brother Su, I'm sorry for getting you involved. After I battle with the 5 Golden Core evil cultivators, I will take advantage of the chaos and have the sword boat take you away. Their target is me, so they shouldn't come after you. Don't worry about me, I can escape on my own. Listening to Ye Carefree's transmission, Su Fan's expression became worse and worse. If someone chases after me, wouldn't I be done for? At the same time, 5 Golden Core evil cultivators started their attack. Ye Carefree proudly said, So what about 5 Golden Core cultivators? The 5 flying swords floating around him. They instantly formed a massive formation called the Sword Formation 5-fold Flame Incantation Kill, trapping the 5 Golden Core evil cultivators inside. The sword boat that Su Fan rode on quickly flew towards the direction of the heaven-gazing sect the moment Ye Carefree made a move. The leading Golden Core evil cultivator ordered Thunder Devouring to quickly and decisively resolve the chi refining stage individual. This is not a place to stay for long. Ye Carefree was about to stop that person. He was directly blocked by 4 Golden Core evil cultivators. A look of regret flashed across Ye Carefree's face. The old man reminded, Young man, why are you so obsessed? That guy is very mysterious. Even if you die, he won't die. Focus on the battle. Yi carefree instantly refocused, looking at the 4 golden core evil cultivators with a murderous expression. None of you will leave today. A fierce battle broke out immediately at this moment. Here, Su Fan on the sword boat is praying that if he is given another chance, he will definitely not leave the sect easily. However, as the escaping light of the golden core evil cultivator gets closer, Su Fan knows he must do something. Thunder-devouring evil cultivator complained. This is fucking ridiculous. She refining dares to battle golden core. Su Fan's hand conjured the dragon soul orb, and a small dragon puppet appeared beside him. Now, it's time to spend some money. The next moment, the dragon soul orb emitted a bright green light, and a 100-meter-long shadow of a dragon appeared. Soon after, it drilled into the body of the dragon puppet. In an instant, the roar of the dragon shook the heavens, and a 100-meter-long dragon puppet appeared. The evil cultivator chasing behind stopped. He didn't expect such a powerful magic weapon from a chi-refining cultivator like you. I'm taking advantage of you. After completing the guidance of the artifact's secret art, with the input of 5,000 spiritual stones, Su Fan breathed a sigh of relief. The flood dragon temporarily possesses the strength of a golden core for 15 minutes, which should be enough for him to escape. At this moment, Thunder Devouring also starts to take action. At this moment, Su Fan didn't say anything and directly gave the final command to Dragon Puppet. Kill the golden core cultivator in front of you. He then quickly fled towards the direction of heaven-gazing sect. Suddenly, the explosive sound from the battle behind him reverberated throughout the sky. Su Fan was completely stunned today. Damn it, I'm going to refine 10 of these kinds of artifacts when I go back. When I return to the sect, I won't come out again. Su Fan was caught off guard by the golden core evil cultivator battling the dragon puppet behind him. Looking at Su Fan fleeing in the distance, a trace of mockery flashed in the eyes of the golden core cultivator. How could a chi-refining stage like you escape from me? Suddenly, a black dead soul insect flew towards Su Fan. Su Fan immediately cast several protective spells. All defensive measures were taken, but the next moment, the dead soul insect still rushed forward menacingly. Su Fan was stunned once again. It turned out to be a mental curse-type celestial technique. As soon as it was spoken, the phantom of the insect instantly drilled into his brow. Instantly, Su Fan was hit. His body drifted towards the clouds below. He has been pretending to be the king of Gua for so long. Is Su Fan finally going to start accepting disciples now? At this moment, on Yunwu Mountain, Su Fan fell unconscious, but fortunately 2 children passing by saved him. And they took him home and took good care of him. Time passed quietly. Half a month has passed since Su Fan fell off the sword boat. During this time, he has been fighting with the dead soul insect in the soul space during this time. He was initially gnawed away half of his soul by the insects. It was not until now that he finally managed to eradicate the insects. Upon waking up, Su Fan stopped the 2 children who had been taking care of him all this time. Child, you won't get tips by massaging like this. The moment the young boy heard Su Fan speaking, he remembered his neighbor's instructions to kowtow immediately upon meeting the celestial being in order to have the opportunity for great wealth and prosperity. Without saying a word, the older brother directly pulled his younger sister to kneel down and started kowtowing to the celestial being, saying, "Please accept us as your disciples." Su Fan helped the siblings up, checked their aptitude, and found that the younger sister had 3 spiritual roots while the older brother had 4 spiritual roots. In this immortal cultivation world, they had just enough qualifications to be cannon fodder. But he hadn't lost a single one of his 4 storage bags. These 2 children were still very honest, so he asked, "Why do you want to apprentice under me?" The brother and sister said in unison, "We want to eat meat every day." This left Su Fan speechless. However, facing the great Tao is the only way to become immortal. These 2 kids are quite honest. At this moment, Su Fan's fingers emitted a green light. He gently pointed at the siblings. A person's nature cannot be changed. This is my final test. Watching the siblings who were already in a dream, Su Fan said softly, "After passing my test, I will take you as my disciples. Even if you fail, I will still grant you a lifetime of wealth and honor." Afterwards, Su Fan performed a thorough inspection on his body. Although he managed to devour the dead soul insect eventually, he still lost half of his soul power. Both the burden of spiritual power and mental power have increased, and it will take at least half a year to recover. In short, he needs to set a small goal first, not leaving the sect within the next 10 years. Also, he must stay away from the protagonist. Su Fan waved his hand and released a set of tea utensils. While drinking tea, he pondered about things to come. After returning, I must refine more puppet battle beasts. Otherwise, it'll be too risky to go out without enough protection. At this moment, an elderly person with a worried expression came to the home of the young boy. He saw Su Fan and was so frightened that he hurriedly wanted to kneel down. Su Fan gently held onto the elderly person. The elderly person does not need to kneel. "You are my saviors, I should thank you. And you saved me, I should repay you. This is karma. What do you want?" The elderly person didn't hesitate. "I have no children, just want to live peacefully with my wife, free from disasters and illness in my remaining years." Su Fan appreciated the elderly person and thought it was a very practical and reasonable request. A bottle of longevity Dan pills appeared in Su Fan's hand. Mortals can live an additional 10 years without disasters or illnesses. After handing it to the old person, he said, "There are 10 longevity Dan pills in the bottle. You and your spouse can each take one every 2 years. Also, go home and pack up now. When these 2 children wake up, you can follow me to the heaven-gazing sect. I will arrange for people to take care of you." The old person looked at the siblings who were unconscious and asked, "Celestial being, what about these 2 children?" Su Fan casually remarked, "They are undergoing the test to see if they can become celestial beings." The old man, upon hearing this, did not ask any further questions and left. At the same time, Su Fan was also preparing to check the test results of the 2 children. First, the little boy, although his talents were a bit lacking, his quality of sincerity, loyalty to friends, care for others, and protection of family members satisfied Su Fan very much. Looking at the little girl next, Su Fan couldn't help but exclaim, "She is truly a great candidate for immortal cultivation." In Su Fan's opinion, she is like a female version of Ye Carefree, just lacking a lucky break to become the protagonist. They are really a good pair of siblings. In the future, Sherfu will rely on you both for support. On the other side, Su Fan and Wang Yuluan are sitting outside the restricted area. Wang Yuluan looks desolate, having learned about Su Fan's accident from Ye Carefree. After returning to the sect, Wang Yuluan has been guarding here ever since. He said with a bitter expression, "Brother Su, I'm sorry. You have always been so cautious, and it's rare for me to come out to attend a marriage, but I didn't expect it to turn out like this." At this moment, Murong Chiener came to Wang Yuluan's side, took out some food and placed it in front of him, comforting. "Brother Su, with your extraordinary talent, nothing will happen. Maybe he is currently somewhere healing his wounds. Once he recovers, he might come back." Wang Yuluan said, "No need to comfort me. I just feel a little guilty. I haven't seen Brother Su leave the sect since we met. I didn't expect that for Chiener's sake, I would wait for half a month. I still owe Brother Su a red packet. I want to give it to him in person." Upon hearing this, Murong Chiener sat down as well. "Okay, then I'll accompany my husband and wait together." He actually gave his sexy wife this kind of lingerie in front of his good brother. Su Fan, this guy seems a bit off. At this point, Su Fan has already registered with Heaven Gazing Sect's Outer Hall of Political Affairs to officially accept the 2 siblings as disciples. Shortly after, he boarded the spiritual wind boat back to the mountain peak. The young boy worriedly asked, "Will it be very difficult to become a celestial being, master?" Su Fan replied with a smile, "No, it won't be difficult. You can all become cultivators as long as you put your heart into it. He thought highly of the young boy, seeing his strong sense of responsibility.